So yeah, discuss your involvement in kind of the COVID-19 dream team, as you call it, and some of those discoveries you made.
Yeah. So how this all started was I had a postdoc in the lab. His name is Xin Ying. He now runs a lab back in China, but he was in the lab and he had gone home for the winter break, right? I think all the years are running together now. I think 2019 winter break. And, he sends me a text and he said, look, pneumonia of unknown etiology coming out in Hubei province. It's always concerning when there's, a new something causing pneumonia that you don't know what it is, right? And then about a week later, I get a text that's 2 words, novel coronavirus. And I was like, come home, we have work to do.
Absolutely.
Right? And so a colleague of mine set up a collaboration with the University of Hong Kong, and they had SARS-CoV-2 from patients in Hong Kong that they were working in with the lab. And I also called up my good friend Arnab Chatterjee at Calibr. They have this unbelievable collection of about 13,000 known drugs. So this is called the Reframe collection. At the time, right, our best hope was really to find a drug that was already known to be safe in humans that we could administer as quickly as possible.
Right.
Remdesivir was one of the drugs that we found, but that had already kind of taken off, but it was good to see. And then we had published at least 20 other drugs that could be potentially used for SARS-CoV-2. And then, we went on to show that in hamsters it works and so on. And then, we try to move into clinical trials. Fortunately for the world, unfortunately for us, these drugs like remdesivir and Paxlovid were then coming in and getting approved. So kind of the need for these drugs kind of were dropping, right? And so we started pivoting to trying to understand the virus better. And so really on the tail end of the pandemic, we kept doing some drug discovery with Calibr, but we pivoted to trying to understand the virus, the immunological response to the virus, right? And what can we do to not only understand this virus better, but kind of the next coronavirus?
Yeah, whatever comes next.
Right. And I think now is the time not to let our foot off the gas, right? It's in the public awareness, right? We're still losing about 400 Americans a day. Okay, that's a plane falling out of the sky every day, right? If that happened in the airline industry, people wouldn't be flying planes, right? But somehow this is okay for COVID, right? And beyond that, right, we were at thousands a day, right, during the pandemic. We need to figure out how we mitigate this, right? How we make sure it's going to happen. How we make sure that we are prepared, not just what I do with drugs and with vaccines, but our infrastructure, right? Our infrastructure was pressure tested to the point of collapse. Near collapse, right?
Absolutely.
I think people don't realize how close we were. I think when they write the books, right, on how close we were to a breakdown of civil society in America, right? We were frighteningly close, right? And I think that because we shouldn't take the fact that it didn't happen as an indication that it's not going to happen,
right,
but that we have to reinforce our institutions, our infrastructure. Our medical system is so fractured and balkanized, right? Having kind of those points where the hospitals can talk with each other and health agencies can share data and all of this stuff needs to be put into place now. It'll be perfect it would be immensely useful for a pandemic, but it'll pay dividends for a lot of other health. Yeah, but it requires boldness of action, right? And it requires leadership, and it requires the general populace to say, hey, we demand that this doesn't happen again.
Right.
What are you going to do about it?